the family, because all the family members, they expected the baby, because and here Joe Morgan and Susan Morgan, they had been married for almost 20 years, and after 20 years they had the first chance to have a baby, and the baby was born, but it was a dead child. Now the doctor realized that this should be the case of asphyxia pallidum. Okay, asphyxia pallida. Asphyxia pallida. What is asphyxia pallida? Asphyxia pallida means unconsciousness, suffocation, or unconscious condition caused by lack of oxygen and excess of carbon dioxide in the blood. This is asphyxia pallida. Practice, can't recall. If you can't, then what could I say? I was not present. Yes. But actually, you should do one thing. In YouTube, class 11 birth videos are already there. You should follow this, then you will remember everything. All the chapters I have already completed, and the videos are there. Okay, I think this would be the best way to remember everything. Just follow the classes, you will remember all. Okay. Now, what I'm telling that yes, the doctor actually realized that this was the case of asphyxia pallida, and immediately he ordered to bring 2 tumblers and along with 2 tumblers hot water and cold water, and he actually poured hot water into a tumbler and mixed cold water with it, make it lukewarm, and in another tumbler, basins actually, in another basins he just poured cold water, and now like a crazy juggler he was plunging the baby and once in hot water and then in cold water, hot water and cold water. Okay, and he tried for almost 30 minutes, but there was no result. Now I just want to read the last part of page number 68, that Andrew here, the floor was draggled messes, trembling over his sopping towel. Andrew almost dropped the child. Okay, because as sir, I have messaged it earlier due to network connection. It is received later. Whatever, I can't understand. Okay, 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 okay. Okay, I understand. I understand. Whatever it is, whatever it is. But you should follow the classes. Okay, okay. now, actually, the midwife, the nurse, the trained nurse, she told Andrew that for mercy's sake, doctor, whimpered the midwife. It's stillborn. Whimpered means sobbing. The nurse saw that the doctor, like a crazy juggler, like a crazy person, he was trying to revive the baby. But it was of no use. The nurse knew it was a dead child. So how the doctor could revive a dead child into life? Now Andrew did not heed her. Heed means pay attention. Andrew did not pay attention to her. Beaten, despairing. Beaten means as if she was almost frustrated. She knew that this is going to be, I will have to lose all the hope. I will have to leave everything, because there is no chance almost. Because, why? Because if it is the really case of asphyxia pallida, then in the case of asphyxia pallida, within 5 minutes or 10 minutes, the child should be revived. And it was almost half an hour. Still, there is no sign that the child could be revived. That is why the doctor was almost beaten, despairing. He was giving all his efforts, having labored in vain for half an hour. Having labored in vain, he had given all his labor, he has given all his toil. He was working hard for half an hour, but it was all useless. He still persisted in one last effort, but still he was giving his last effort, probably his last effort he was giving. Rubbing the child with a rough towel, and with a rough towel he was rubbing the child. He was just so that the child would cry, cursing and releasing the little chest with both his hands, trying to get breath into the limp body. And he was trying to cursing and releasing his little chest. He was just pressing the little chest. Okay, the cursing and releasing, you know, he was pumping his little chest with both his hands, was pressing his little chest. and trying to get breath into the limp body. Here, limp means lifeless. He was trying his best to revive the child. Now, what happened there? Page number 69. And then, as a miracle, the pygmy chest, which his hands enclosed, gave a short convulsive heave. Another and another. Andrew turned giddy. Now, and then, by a miracle. Why miracle? Because it took almost half an hour. In the case of asphyxia pallida, if the child could be revived, it could be revived within 5 to 10 minutes. But it had taken almost half an hour, almost 30 minutes. And after 30 minutes, when doctor was giving the last chance, because mentally he had accepted that he is going to be bitten, he could not revive the child into life. In that case, just almost after 30 minutes, it was a miracle. That is why miracle. Miracle means that cannot be described from the science point of view. That is miracle. By a miracle, the pygmy chest, here pygmy means the small chest, which his hands enclosed. He was holding the chest, he was holding the baby in his hands, so his hands enclosed, gave a short convulsive heave. Heave means pull. Just something like this. He got a convulsive, means trembling. Another and another. So one convulsing, pull, another and another. Andrew turned giddy, and at in that condition, as if Andrew felt a whirling condition, as if he could not realize it. He could not believe it, what had happened. The sense of life springing beneath his fingers after all that unavailing striving was so exquisite, it almost made him faint. The sense of life means the child has come back into his life. It was almost impossible. Springing beneath his fingers, the child was under his fingers, and the life of the child started under his finger. After all unavailing striving, after getting striving means effort, unavailing means here almost given all, means he had given all the effort to bring the child back into life, and it worked. Was so exquisite, was so beautiful. Exquisite means so ineffably beautiful that he could not express what was his mind's condition. As if he became mad because of that happiness, something like this. Exquisite, that it almost made him faint. Sometimes happen that if you got something exquisite, extraordinary, above from your dream, above from your expectation, that it might be faint out of that achievement. The hair condition is something like this. The condition is something like this, that he, as if it made him faint, almost made him faint. He redoubled his efforts feverishly, and he now he was giving his effort, and now he redoubled it. He redoubled his effort so that the child could come back into life. It had already come back, so that the child would cry. Because every doctor who helps a pregnant mother to deliver the baby, the first and foremost desire of that doctor is that after the birth the baby should cry, and this cry brings the happy message to the doctor, and this cry proves that the doctor is successful in helping the mother to deliver the baby. So here also the doctor wanted the baby to cry, and he had given all his effort. The child was gasping now. Gasping means breathing heavily, panting deeper and deeper. Something like this, gasping, deeper and deeper. A bubble of mucus came from its tiny nostril, a joyful, iridescent bubble. A bubble of mucus, when the baby, it was in the mother's womb for 9 months. So, and it was floating in the liquid. You people might know, it was those who are having biology. So it was floating on the liquid inside mother's womb. So when the baby came out, some mucus came from his nostril. Some mucus came, and a joyful iridescent bubble, and the bubble is iridescent bubble. Why iridescent bubble? Here the word iridescent means the reflection. When a bubbles is coming out from the little nostril, don't forget that the baby was born in the early dawn, in the dawn time, the early morning light is coming, and when the light is reflected on the bubble, it makes a different color. Okay, this has been stated, the iridescent bubble, okay, iridescent bubble, because in that bubble the light, the sunlight of the early morning is getting reflected. The limbs were no longer boneless, as when the baby was born as a dead child, it was boneless, it seemed boneless. But now, as oxygen started and the blood circulated had started, because the pumping, the heart has started its own function, and as the heart started its function, blood circulation started, and as blood circulation started, oxygen also reached in every parts of the body, and now it no longer becomes boneless. The head no longer lay back spinelessly. At first the head was hanging low, actually it was low or hanging loosely. The head, at first the head was hanging loosely, just like a dead person, but as the pumping of the heart has started, blood circulation had started, so it was no longer hanging like this, it was no longer seemed spineless. The blanched skin, blanched means the whitish, the gray whitish, just like the dead man, the skin color was something like this. The blanched skin was slowly turning pink. Why not? Because blood circulation had started, and because of that blood, the skin's color is getting changed, because at first it was a skin color of a dead man, but now it's getting changed, it's getting pink. Then exquisitely means beautifully came the child's cry. At last the child started to cry. I told you that to a doctor who is helping a pregnant mother to deliver the baby, this cry, the doctor always waits that when the baby cries. This cry suggests that the doctor is successful in his approach or in his job. So that ultimately came the baby's cry. Dear Father in heaven, the nurse sobbed hysterically. Hysterically means as if the nurse could not control her emotion and sobbed. The nurse started to cry. It's come. It has come. It has come alive. It has come. It has come alive. The nurse told this hysterically. He could not control, because the nurse was also so much happy. And why not? Because at first the nurse thought that it was a dead child. The nurse also knew that how much the mother and other family members desire to have the child, especially after 20 years of their marriage. But now the baby had come into a child, and yes, actually as if they have forgotten how to express it, and that's why it has come alive. This was the nurse. Understood so far? So today, up to this, it's time up. Next day, just half part of page number 69 remains. It will take another 10-15 minutes. In our next class, definitely we will complete it. So today, up to this, thank you very much for joining my class. Thank you.